This is a clip from the Red Cow Arcade podcast.
I always knew about Castle of Illusion for Sega Genesis, the Mickey Mouse game, and some of the Illusion games in general, but I only really knew about the 16-bit ones. And growing up, I had World of Illusion, which I really stand by. It's super easy, but the character sprites are awesome. The playability is great. The Disney backgrounds. I mean, it really captures Disney for 16-bit. And then I tried, because I guess the original and the classic is Castle of Illusion, where he throws apples. And they've now made a remake for, Xbox One and Switch and stuff that looks kind of great. But I don't know. I never could get into it. It had like a weird, he would swing on a vine and it would have like really low frame rate. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I never could quite get into it. And then this YouTuber we always are laughing about, this guy named Segalord X, who he's like a very popular. He's like SNES drunk. He just reviews in a much more straightforward way.
Yeah, very low, no humor, not intentionally.
Yeah. When I first bought Castle of Illusion, I thought it was going to be a 16-bit kids game, but I was sorely mistaken. It's always like that. It turned out that I had quite a good time, and my friends did to boot.
This is one you want to share with the kiddies.
Okay.
And at the low asking price of $10, you should go ahead and pick it up if you see it. I could just watch this hypnotic basic bitch content forever. So anyway, he did something like 15 best Game Gear games or early days of Game Gear. And I never had a Game Gear. I had a friend who got one for his first communion. And I was like, I wish I was Catholic.
I got one, but I didn't want it. I wanted a Game Boy. I asked for a Game Boy, and then when I got a Game Gear, I was like, because like my parents thought they were being smart. It's like, oh, this one's better because it's color and stuff like that, and I did not like it because it was a color screen. It was backlit, unlike the Game Boy, but I played the Game Boy, other people's Game Boys. I felt everything was easier to follow on the Game Boy and like more fun too because it was Mario. But I had Castle Illusion. I got it actually that Christmas, and I don't remember getting that far in it because I couldn't tell what was going on that screen. LCD screens.
Well, that's where I'm going with it. Is Segalord X told me that the Castle of Illusion 8-bit experience. So for anybody who doesn't know, the Game Gear was just a Sega Master System. It was just the 8-bit Sega system that precluded the Genesis, but in a handheld form. So either they just ported most of the Sega Master System library to it, or if they released new Game Gear games, they also released it for the Sega Master System. And honestly, if you have both versions, like a Master System version and a Game Gear version, you should, especially with emulation, you should pick the Master System version because it's higher resolution. Like for instance, the Sonic games. The Sonic games are very, very good. They're like really well, they're not trying to port Sonic 2 for Genesis to 8-bit.
It's its own
It's
game.
a ground up redevelopment. Yeah, it's kind of a more standard platformer.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the case with Castle of Illusion. Is they didn't try. He doesn't throw apples in this one. It's its own mechanics. And I'm telling you, man, I had never played it. I was scared off from the 16-bit one that everybody seems to like. This thing, if this had been released for NES, I have no doubt that it would be like in a bunch of top 15s. The jump mechanic actually feels really good. A lot of Master System and Game Gear games are very clunky, like clunkier than your average Nintendo fare. Not this thing. It's like, and then they made the sequel, Land of Illusion, and that innovated even more. Where every level has some kind of, because you're jumping, you're lifting things, and you're platforming. But they almost always come up with something creative for you to do that's engaging. The difficulty level is spot on, like not too hard, not too light. The length is just right. Like if you're looking for like a mediocre to strong 8-bit platformer, and I love a good 8-bit platformer. I even love a mediocre 8-bit platformer. I gotta recommend these games. I'm like having a really good time with them.
Yeah, after you were talking about it on the Discord, I checked it out a little bit, and I'm like, I don't like, especially because I could see it now with emulation and on the Sega Master System. I was like, oh, I can see this game now. It actually is.
Yeah.
It's got some really good mechanics. I heard the controls are really good, solid, like Nintendo-esque.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.